Hey guys, Zangetsu 134 here, bringing you a Kamen Rider build vlog. And this week's episode is episode 10, the premiere of Kamen Rider Cross. And yes, I'm going to pronounce it Cross because it clearly pronounces it as Cross in the show. I know people are like, well, it's Crossy! I'm like, yeah, but the Japanese clearly are pronouncing it as Cross or Cross. And because I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a pun on the fact that Ryuga uses the Dragon Full bottle, it means Dragon Claws, so Craws. So yeah, in this episode, Ryuga finally is able to transform into a Kamen Rider, mostly due to the fact that Sento cannot, because all of his rider bottles except for Lock and Dragon were stolen by Faust. So was also finally outed as a member of the conspiracy between Faust and the Toto government, as Bloodstock and Night Rogue are clearly getting into a feud, threatening to dissolve Faust entirely, all while Sento begins building a new weapon for Ryuga. So yeah, no, this was a really decent episode. I really liked the main problem of this episode was Ryuga trying to synchronize with the Cross Dragon, in that Sento built it so that if only Ryuga has the reasons of using his power as a true Kamen Rider can he use it. Basically, is if he's willing to rescue and protect people. Not because he wants to discover his identity or anything like that. He wants him to fight like a true Kamen Rider. I do think that's kind of selfish of Sento, because I do feel bad for Ryuga. I also kind of get why he's doing that, because he doesn't want the Kamen Rider system to be used like the military weapon that it is. He wants to be a tool to protect people and advance humanity. Which is a noble idea, but it also is kind of rude of Sento. But I get it. It's especially, Sento's way. I'm sure that's going to become a character flaw in him at some point that he'll have to deal with. But until then, it's not a bad thing. But yeah, I really do like that, especially because, I think part of Ryuga's problem is he can't move forward because of the fact that he still thinks of the Dragon Full bottle as part of his dead girlfriend's soul. That's all left to her. So he can't move forward. Which comes to another kind of weird thing Sento does, where apparently he writes, a letter. It's not really me. It was kind of confusing to me. Either he wrote a letter to her, he found, Sento found his dead girlfriend's letter to her boyfriend, telling him, after I die, I need you to forget about me and move forward with your life. I love that you did all this stuff for me, but you need to move on with your life. I do not want you to keep being stuck only thinking about me. And to be fair, I think it's a decent sentiment, because I think that was Ryuga's biggest problem holding him back as a Kamen Rider, is that he was too focused on trying to get his life back when his life is kind of gone. Don't get me wrong, he left the MMA circuit because of her. He took a dive so that he could have money for her. He did all this stuff for her, and because of that, he got stuck, with Faust, and they experimented on it. But at the same time, I do think that if it was the girlfriend's letter and Sento simply found it and placed it at her grave, which I think makes more sense to me, but the way she wrote it is weird, because she says you need to forget about me, which I don't know if that means that Sento wrote it or that's just a weird translation thing. I'm going to chalk that up to the translation, especially because this translation really tries to write Sento weirdly. But yeah, I really did like that, especially because, I think him moving forward while still holding on to her, I think was really what he needed to do in order to finally become a Kamen Rider. I did like that Sawa finally was outed, but that happened at the very end of the episode so that we can deal with the fallout in the next episode. I know a lot of series that would just wrap that up at the very end of the episode and either kind of add to it in the next episode or just completely forget about it, or, have something happen to her where we don't see her for a while. But yeah, no, I really do have to admit, this show does really good at, either leaving something for the next episode to deal with, or, wrapping up in a way that still leaves you questions. I really do like this show just for that. how much it is trying to be a mystery of some sort in every episode, or at least, adding to the questions. We also see more of the fact that Stark and Night Rogue are starting to kind of come to blows with each other. Like, I kind of assume that this is going to lead to one of them killing the other. More likely, I think Night Rogue. Like, at first I thought Night Rogue was going to basically be set up to be the major bad guy, but I'm pretty sure he's going to end up dying at some point. Either that or getting badly injured or having his trans-steam gun destroyed. Especially because I think he's going to end up getting a second rider form with the secondary belt that we'll be getting. Because I think Kraz also gets another power-up form with that belt. But yeah, it was a good episode. I do think it was kind of weird how long it took Misa to finally admit that Sawa was evil. It took her 2 episodes, and then even then she never got to actually say it because Faust uses her to make a smash, which actually that was kind of interesting because I want to say that the smash was based on a chameleon because it had these tentacles that came out of its shoulders, but I almost thought that was a reference to sorry. A chameleon, especially because it kind of looked like a chameleon. I could be wrong. I thought maybe it was a chameleon, in reference to the fact that how she changes her colors, that she apparently was with them, but then went with the company that's funding Faust in the Toto government. It's never really made perfectly clear. But I do like the fact that Sawa was a mole. It was an interesting thing for her to happen. I also noticed that the owner of the cafe hasn't been in the last couple episodes, which is interesting, and yet we've still had more with Stark. So I do kind of think that makes me think that he's going to be, he's actually going to be either Bloodstalk or Katsuragi. They really want to lean that they think Bloodstock is Katsuragi, but I feel like that's such a red herring that it's not true, but we'll see. But like I said, I really do like this this episode. I like the fact that it really is a great character moment for Ryuga. I almost think that Ryuga's probably going to end up being my favorite character by the end of the show, especially if they keep up with his character stuff. We'll see. I mean, we're only 10 episodes in. Getting on to Cross. I really do like the design. I will admit the shoulders are kind of busy on his suit, but it's not like it's a complete game changer. I will admit, in certain ways when he moves, he looks really bulky head upward wise, but he looks really good in movement, and I love his rider kick, clearly being an homage to Kamen Rider Ryuki, especially the fact that there's an energy dragon that lights him on fire. He doesn't do a traditional rider kick where he leaps in the air and does a forward side kick. Instead, he does a jumping tornado or axe kick. I want to say it's an axe kick, but I always call it a tornado just because you spin, and he clearly doesn't completely spin. He clearly does a side twist. So I'm gonna say an axe kick. Yeah, we'll say an axe kick. But technically, an axe kick is usually when you raise your leg up in your head and you stomp down. I guess just a side kick, a leaping side kick. But anyway, martial arts questions aside, what else? Trying to think what else. Oh yeah, I was also surprised we also got his sword in this episode, but I really do like it. I like how it's clearly based on a bass level thing or a sound leveler. Basically it's a radio. I love all the things it does. When you pump it up, it goes smash hit, as if he's making a smash single, and then it'll do I think depending on how much you level it up, it'll do 1,000,000 hits or a record breaking hit. And I like when you put a full bottle in it, it does a million hits. I reached 1,000,000 hits on YouTube. I was okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good there, Toei. Nicely done. But I like the sword. It's a really neat sword, and I like the fact that it has a neat look to it. And it was a really good fight, showing Ryuga finally being able to actually fight back against Faust. In fact, I want to say this is the first time we've seen Night Rogue actually seriously be hurt. I mean, he's taken hits like um, Build, but I don't think Build's really ever actually really hurt him until like Lock Key or Lock Dragon. And even then, I almost think that he was like, your power's starting to get a little too much. I gotta go. But yeah, otherwise it was a really fun episode. I feel like next episode we're gonna finally resolve the whole Sento only has 2 full bottles, and at the moment only Ryuga can use them, because especially because next episode looks like they're debuting Pirate Resha. Yeah, Pirate Resha, aka the Gokaiger Tokyuja reference, which is weird because I don't know why Toei wants to remember Tokyuja. I don't know. That's one of those Sentai that I don't really think anyone really wants to remember because it was kind of bad. But anyway, guys, that's really all I got to say for this episode. It was a good episode. Mostly fight towards the end, but I mean there's not a problem with that. It's just harder for me to talk about stuff because usually with episodes that debut suits or is going to be an important fight, they're very front heavy, and you talk about everything up front, and then at the end, like it's just fight. But otherwise, that's not a bad thing. I think Kamen Rider needs that every once in a while, where it has kind of an episode where they kind of just talk about stuff and have like very minimal fights, and then the next episode they just fight. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you pay to watch when you watch Kamen Rider at all. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I'm probably gonna be a little late next week because this week I've got Thanksgiving, but I work in retail, so it's gonna be a little bit before I actually get to watch the next episode of Kamen Rider. I'm not off again until next Wednesday, and I usually try to do my vlogs on days off or days where I think I can squeeze them in before work. I do have some later shifts in the week, but we'll just have to see. So until then, guys, I will catch you next time. Until then, take care. Oh, also, I haven't done any DuckTales vlogs because there haven't been any DuckTales episodes. Unless I missed one, which I'll probably have to look at some point. If so, I'll just do I'll do 2 episodes together again. But anyway, guys, take care.